Dal 16 al 18 novembre 2018 si è svolta a Dublino la prima conferenza mondiale contro le basi USA e Nato nel mondo. Organizzata dal Peace and Neutrality Alliance of Ireland e dalla statunitense Coalition Against US Foreign Military Bases, la conferenza è riuscita a mettere insieme organizzazioni di diverse provenienze e orientamenti che in altri contesti non erano riusciti ad incontrarsi. Delegazioni di più di 18 paesi hanno portato le loro testimonianze sulla situazione di presenze di basi, armi nucleari e militari NATO e statunitensi sul proprio territorio. Tra gli interventi quello di Aleida Guevara, figlia del Che, e di Mairead McGuire, premio Nobel per la pace.
Il mondo non necesita armamentos, el mundo necesita medicamentos, el mundo no necesita armamentos, el mundo necesita alimento, el mundo no necesita armamento, el mundo necesita solidaridad, comprensión, unidad y fuerza para crear.
The North Atlantic Treaty Organization should have been disbanded when the Warsaw Pact was dissolved. Instead, NATO continues to carry out wars and proxy wars, as we witnessed in many countries like Syria, 3 times going to Syria and meeting with military and militants, funded, trained by the West, proxy wars, and wars in Iraq and so many other countries, and pushing towards the borders of Russia, and resurrecting a Cold War between East and West. I believe that NATO should be disbanded and should be made accountable to the millions of people in countries such as Afghanistan, God forgive us, Iraq, God forgive us, Libya, God forgive us, and many other illegally attacked and destroyed. We will never be allowed by our governments or our mainstream media to hear the stories of the lives of so many civilians killed by US NATO forces. NATO forces has targeted and assassinated individuals and entire families. It is to all our shame in the international community that their illegal criminal acts of horror and bloodletting is allowed to continue. NATO should be brought before the International Criminal Court for war crimes.
Ha colpito tutti la situazione italiana, che nessuno, proprio come da noi, pareva conoscere. Il Comitato No Guerra No Nato ha partecipato con una delegazione con a capo Gin Toschi Marazzani Visconti ed ha presentato l'ultimo video realizzato dal Comitato, Italy, a Whole US NATO Strategic Base, che aiuta a capire come stanno le cose.
Comitato No Guerra No Nato started about 3 years ago. The Italian situation. We have 114 bases. Naval, air bases. We have all our ports practically at the disposal of air and naval US forces. We spend about 70 million euros by day. We host 70 nuclear bombs, B-61, that in 2020 will be substituted by the B-61-12 that go along with the F-35A fighter that we produce as well. From our country, the most cruel operation have started, like, the attack on Libya, on Syria. So we are definitely a whole US NATO base, but everything happens in the total silence of the media. And people, when you talk to them, they're absent. They don't realize the kind of danger that we have above our heads. We put an appeal on the network, and a lot of people signed it. It was just to confirm that Italy, signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty, and we want Italy to respect it, and we want neutrality, and of course we want peace. And what we propose now, and we do believe it, it's that we just organize a general network about all the associations that are involved in this, because only with unification and working together we can get a certain result. How could you put everybody together?
In 2011, when the US sent all these terrorist groups into Syria, we tried to approach peace organizations to unite to stop the US war. US instigated war at the beginning, but now they're bombing themselves. And many of the organizations refused to join because of the propaganda that was going on. Of course, correct or not, we have no position. We believe that it's up to the people of Syria to decide whether Assad is good or bad, not ours. What we know is that the imperialism and the US is attacking another country and we want to stop that. So we organized a delegation to Syria, a peace delegation, to travel to Syria. We discussed it with Syrian government through their UN mission that we want to have a free hand in terms of visiting anybody, civil society, NGOs, workers, teachers, professors, students, and everybody else. And they fully agreed to that. And in fact, they put no limit on anything. And we had 2 press conferences at the UN. And that turned the tide in the United States. But they started attacking us, that you are Putinized. That was the term used against us. You are Putinized. You drank Assad's Kool-Aid. So if we agreed to put together a coalition, hands off Syria, and we did. But that was the beginning of the idea of working together. That, okay, we don't agree on Ukraine, we don't agree on Syria, we don't agree on all of these issues, but probably the basis of the issue that at least a great majority can agree on. So we initiated a unity statement. We created a coalition against US foreign military bases and then publicized that statement, called for signatures. That peace movement does a lot of sacrifices, spends a lot of energy, but the diversion and distraction and the division is keeping it from being effective. Nowadays, it's very dominant in the United States to create identity politics. It's a gender movement, it's women's movement, it is black movement, it's Latin American movement, immigrant movement. And they are pushing it so that they all try to identify their boundaries with others. And that way they're trying to kind of pacify or eliminate any ability of the movement to move forward.
Sí. Cuando vengo a la vieja Europa, a mí me llama la atención que la gente no reaccione ante muchísimas cosas. Es una cosa que no logro entender, porque aquí hay hombres y mujeres con capacidad de pensar, con capacidad de reaccionar. ¿Qué pasa? Si cuando nosotros permitimos que estas cosas sigan pasando, somos cómplices, nos convertimos en cómplices de estas cosas. Si somos capaces de exigir que nuestro gobierno o los gobiernos europeos no hagan más apoyo a todos los terroristas que provocan esas guerras, seguramente la guerra termina. Y si la guerra termina, la gente regresa a sus hogares. Sé que cualquier mujer en el mundo, sobre todo si es madre, va a tratar de defender la vida de sus hijos. No importa qué ideología tengamos. Lo importante es que todas tenemos las mismas necesidades para sobrevivir.
Your speech about the pollution, especially in Italy and all the countries where are many American bases. Can you tell us something more about?
Certainly. Well, initially, I want to state that there is no scientific proof published by the Pentagon of anything in Italy. However, there's a woman, COPP, C-O-P-P, and she is with Gannett News. And Gannett, G-A-N-N-E-T-T, they publish USA Today. They also publish Military Times. Ms. COPP has published a series of 6 or 7 articles, all documenting these chemicals, PFOS and PFOA, linked up the presence of these chemicals with several hundred women who have had problems with reproductive health, problems with uterine cancer, problems with miscarriages, and problems with chromosomal damage to their children and their grandchildren. The Pentagon published a report on these 2 chemicals, and it was dated March of 2018. And in that report, they mentioned 401 bases. Of those 401 bases, they mentioned the name of the base, and they mentioned the water test result. And they measured in parts per trillion the presence of PFOA and PFOS. And they found poisonous limits in 401 bases. So, of those 401 bases, 9 were outside of the United States. Only 1 was in Europe. That one in Europe was in Belgium. The others were in Korea, in Okinawa, Diego Garcia, Honduras. How was it that nothing else in Europe was reported? But one small base in Belgium, but not, say, Ramstein, in Kaiserslautern. How could that be? But it is horrendous, and you would think that Italy, with 110 bases or however many there are, would also be suffering from these problems. And so we need to test water, and we need to test water around military bases. And in Italy, you know that even close to these bases, there are rural areas that are villages that get the water from the well, and those well waters only go down 300 or 400 feet. And so to just recapitulate, what is happening is they use these chemicals, and they're great for making a fire cold.
La Constitution de la République portugaise, c'est clair. Elle dit que nous défendrons le désarmement total, universel, simultané, aussi que devrait faire la dissolution des blocs militaires. Alors, nous pensons que l'OTAN devrait être dissolvée, c'est l'application de notre Constitution, la Constitution de la République portugaise.
Quel est votre conseil pour avancer dans la lutte contre les bases, contre l'OTAN, contre l'invasion, si vous voulez, de l'armée américaine?
Nous pensons que nous devrons avoir plus d'unité, plus de convergence sur les choses que nous sommes d'accord. Si nous sommes d'accord sur la dissolution de l'OTAN, si nous sommes d'accord pour défendre la paix et contre la militarisation, nous pensons que c'est très important notre convergence malgré les différences d'opinion d'autres choses.